Shall we begin?
Let's begin now.
Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with an anniversary card, but this time we're not going to be using any cartridges. That's right, can you believe it? We're not going to be using the Cricut or the Gypsy today. Today I will be using what I call Erica, which is the Silhouette Cameo. So before I actually put together the card, I am in part 1 of this video going to show you how I designed my card using the Silhouette Studio Designer software. And then in part 2, we'll put the card together. So if you don't have the Cameo, you can still watch the video. Maybe you'll be interested in purchasing a Cameo as well, or you can get some ideas of how you can do this using your Cricut or your Gypsy. So our card today looks like this. And then I've also made a box to put it in. Now I'm not going to show you how to put the box together because I decided to do this afterwards. But we will be using the software to make our card, and then we'll put the card together. So come on and join me so you can see how I made this card using Erica. Okay everybody, so before we get started and we go ahead and make our card, I thought I'd just give a little demo of how I came up with the design and the idea for my card. Now, I'm just learning how to use the Silhouette Studio Designer Edition software, so bear with me. I'm sure there's lots of ways to do things and I may be doing wrong, but this is how I came up with what I needed to do to make my card. Now, I purchased the Designer Edition when I purchased Erica, which is what I call my Silhouette, and it does not come with that, but it was a special price. And the reason why I purchased this is because I wanted to be able to download files that are considered SVG or PNG files, and the original Silhouette software that comes with your Cameo does not allow you to import an SVG. There's some other things that you have to do to get it to work, and I didn't want to go through all that, and because it was a special price, I decided I'm going to just purchase the Designer Edition. So the first thing I do is when I open up the software, it does open up with a blank mat, and I like to make sure that I have the mat set at 12 by 12 just so I can see my actual mat. And I will reveal the cutting mat itself and the lines. Not that it stays there, it will when you go to cut, but it's just what I feel comfortable with. So in order to start making my card, just as I would on my Gypsy, I automatically start out with the size of what the front of my card is going to look like. So in this case, I'm going to go over to the rectangle draw tool, and I'm going to click on that, and then I'm just going to draw a rectangle. Now I need to size my rectangle the actual size of what my card is going to be. So I'm going to select my rectangle, and then I'm going to go up to here where it says open the scale window, and I'm going to click on that and open it up. And right now it's telling me that the width of my card or the rectangle is 4.8 and the height is 3.45. Well, I don't want that, and I guess I could drag it to get it to what I want, but I'm just going to make it easy on myself and just type in my measurements. So I know I want the height of my card to be 4.25, so I'm going to type in the 4.25, and then I know I want my width to be 5.5, so I'm going to just type in 5.50. Now I'm not going to click the lock aspect ratio, just as I would take the lock aspect ratio off if I were using my Gypsy. In the Silhouette software, the lock aspect ratio is always automatically off. I haven't been able to find a way to have that be on automatically. If someone knows how to do that, if you could send me a message or leave a comment in this video, I would appreciate it. So once I put in my measurements, I'm going to click apply. So now my front of my rectangle or my card measures exactly what I want. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to start adding my images. Now my images are located in my library, so I'm going to go over to the icon that says show library, and I'm going to click on that. And these images I've already downloaded from the Silhouette website. The images are 99¢. You can purchase a monthly subscription, a yearly subscription, and then you get so many images per month and per year. Otherwise, if you want to buy the images separately, they're 99¢, which is what I like, because that way I can pick and choose what I want, and I don't spend money on a cartridge to give me images that I know that I'll never use. That's not saying that I don't like my Gypsy and my Cricut, because I do. I just wanted that other option, and I've had such bad customer service with ProvoCraft. I've decided that I'm going to get something else just in case my Gypsy does die on me. Then I will be done with the Gypsy and the Cricut. So the image that I want to pick is my couple forehead kiss, is what it's labeled. So I'm going to double click that. Sorry about that, I didn't double click, I guess. And as you can see, it brought my image in, but my image is way too large for my card. So what I need to do is I need to get my image the size that I want it to be to fit within my card. Now, because I'm going to be cutting this all the same color, I'm not going to ungroup the couple and the lamppost, but I do want to resize everything. So I'm going to go over to my scale tool again, and just as I would do if I were using a Gypsy, I'm going to put in that I want my height to be 3 inches. And because I do want this to stay proportioned, in this instance, I will click the lock aspect ratio, and then I'm going to click apply. So now that has resized my image to be 3 inches in height. And then I'm going to just move my rectangle down, and I'm going to select my couple, and I'm just going to drag them where I want them on my mat. So it does work similar to using the Gypsy, your Cricut Expression, and Expression 2, I'm sorry, and the Cricut Craft Room. So now that I have that image on, I now want to add my bench. So I'm going to go back to my library, and I could have added my bench when I added the couple, but I like to do each one separate. So I'm double clicking my bench, and as you can see, the bench is way too large. And the bench has a top layer and a bottom layer. This would be your bottom layer, and this would be your top layer. So now I want to work with just the bottom layer for now and get that resized. So I'm going to keep them grouped together for the simple fact that I want them to be lined up proportionally when I change my measurements. If I want to cut them separately, different colors, then I will ungroup them, and I will show how to ungroup them. But for right now, we're going to select our image, and I'm going to go with, because I want it to fit within this space right here, I'm going to change my width. And I'm going to change my width to 2 1/4 or 2.25. And once again, I'm going to click the lock aspect ratio. Then I'm going to click apply. So now, if I move this, I can see that my bench will fit within my card. Now, supposing I did want to make these 2 different colors, or if I want to cut them the same color, I can do that. To make them or separate them so they're not grouped together, you can go to the bottom down here, and you can click on the ungroup selected shapes, or you can right click and then you can just click ungroup. And what happens is your shapes become ungrouped from each other, and then you can move them around wherever you want. So I'm just going to leave the top layer up there at the top and leave my bottom layer down here. So now the last thing that I want to add is I want to go ahead and add my happy anniversary. Now my happy anniversary is not a Silhouette studio image, and it did not come off the Silhouette website. I got this image off of someone's blog, and it was a free image, and I will put a description or a link to the blog that I got this from in the description bar, because I do want her to get credit for the image that I'm using on my card. So once again, I'm going to go to my Show Library button and click on that. Now there are two ways to bring in what is called an SVG image, and this is what this file is. You can go ahead and go up to File and import the image to your library, which you would click on Import to Image, and then you would find your file, and because it's an SVG file, you would have to make sure you click on SVG. But I'm not going to import it because I've already imported it before. The other way that you can do it is you can just go up to Open folder, or you can click the file Open, and you would navigate to where you have the SVG file, and then you have to make sure where it says Files of Type that you click SVG, because if you don't, you won't see your SVG file. And this is my file right here, and I'm going to click OK, and as you can see, it's now opened it up, and it opened it to a separate mat. And this file contained a happy anniversary and a happy birthday. So now what I want to do first of all is I don't want to happy birthday at all. I just want the happy anniversary. So I'm going to select the entire image, and I'm going to click right click and click ungroup. So now I just have the happy birthday. I have them separated with the happy birthday and the shadow happy birthday. So I'm going to click the happy birthday, which I've done already, and I'm going to hit the shift key and click the other shadow of happy birthday, and I'm just going to hit my delete key because I don't need those two right now. Now what I need to do is I want to group these two together because I'm going to resize them so that they work with my card. So I'm going to click my first happy anniversary, then I'm going to click the second happy anniversary shadow, and I'm going to right click and click group. So now they are grouped together, and I can now go ahead and do my resizing. So because I want to put this on the front of my card, and I need to go back to the mat that has my card on it, because what happened when we opened it, it opened it into a brand new mat, and you can see that down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to do a copy, or you can do a cut if you want. Either one works. And I'm going to then toggle back over to my untitled file, which is actually my card because I haven't saved this yet. And I'm going to right click and then click paste because I wanted to bring that over. Now as you can see, that is not going to fit on my card. It doesn't even fit on the mat. So we want to resize this. So I know I want my happy anniversary to fit right within here. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this down to, for my height, 1.5 inches. So I'm going to type in the 1.50, and then once again I'm going to make sure I lock my aspect ratio. I really wish there was a way that the lock aspect ratio would stay on, and when I want to change it, I take it off. I guess I'm used to that because that's how it works with the Gypsy. So now that I've done that, I'm going to click apply, and of course that reduces it the size, and now I can see that the happy anniversary will fit within here. So now I'm going to ungroup these because I want to cut these in 2 different colors. So once again, my image is already selected. I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose ungroup, and now they are ungrouped like so, and I can move them around. So now the other thing that I need to do is, when you bring in an SVG file, the Silhouette doesn't know that it needs to cut that because it does not consider that it is an actual studio file, which is what the Designer Edition software labels all of the images that you create or you get from the studio Silhouette website. So I need to tell this when I send it to Erica that I need it to cut. So to do that, I'm going to open up my cut style window, which is this icon right here that looks like a scissors, a pair of scissors and a piece of paper. So when I click that, as you can see, everything that is in red, the Silhouette knows what it is, and it knows I need to cut that. The things that you see that are shadowed in gray, the Silhouette doesn't recognize that. If I were to click send to Silhouette right now, which is this button right here, it would come back and say there's images on the mat that it doesn't know it's supposed to cut. So what you do from your cut style window is you'll click on cut, and now that has turned red. So now the Silhouette knows I need to cut this, and I'm going to go up here and select this one, and I'm going to click cut. Now I could have did that before I ungrouped them, but it works just the same way. So now my image or my card is ready to cut. So to send to your Silhouette, you're just going to click on send to Silhouette, and I'm getting this error message, could not connect to the Silhouette, and that's because I don't have my Silhouette on right now. Now it does turn my image that I imported, the SVG, back to the color it was, but because we know when we were on the cut style window, we know we've told it to cut, and it knows to cut it. So let's go back to the send to Silhouette, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my rectangle, and I'm just going to move it off to the side here. If I move anything off the mat, that means not to cut it. So there is no layering or open up a new layer like there is when you're using the Gypsy, but you can still put everything you want that you want to cut for that particular file on the mat, get it all on there, and then you move it to the side and just put the things that you're actually going to cut. At least you will have all your images in your one file when you save the file. So because I know that I want the couple to cut in one color cardstock and I want my bench to cut in one color of the cardstock, I'm just going to put those two together, and then I can click cut and send this to Erica. So that is how I came up with the design for my card. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to set up my paper on my mat, I'm going to get it loaded into Erica, and then I'm going to cut it, and then I'll be back in part 2 with putting the card together.